Markets with David Modell.
Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Today, my special guest, and actually a repeat guest, is Mr. Daniel Ameduri. Mr. Ameduri is from FutureMoneyTrends.com. The link to that is in the description below this video. I want you to visit that. Also, check out Mr. Ameduri's Twitter account. His feed is at Future Money Trend. And there's also a Facebook group for Future Money Trends, which you want to check out. Click on all those links. But first, we're going to say welcome to Mr. Daniel Ameduri. Thank you for coming to my show, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I really appreciate you returning. Now, boy, today is a really interesting day, and it's just been an interesting year, 2018 so far, for the cryptocurrencies markets, for marijuana stocks, and for the markets in general. We're seeing some volatility today. Finally, it's about time. So, I'd like to cover a few different topics. First, we can start with cannabis. Cannabis in North America. Boy, my audience loves to talk about the pot stocks. What is your outlook on those right now?
Well, in the bigger picture, I couldn't be more bullish about the cannabis industry. And I really don't think the federal government is going to do anything to cause us problems. But the in-house counsels of a lot of brokerage firms and other regulators could cause some, slow growth pains. Because the fact of the matter is this is the end of a prohibition. So when it comes to Canada and the United States, we're unleashing a bull market that could last 15, 20 years. I mean, there's so many stages. It's so messy. And I can tell you, I've been to all these conferences and I talk to a lot of these CEOs because my partners and I, we do our best to seed around as many of these companies as we can, right? Because I really do believe these things are going to be, monsters in the next few years.
Sure.
And there'll even be a mania phase, just like blockchain had, 6 months ago.
Yep.
But it's still very messy, and not a lot of companies are making money. I think it's just literally like less than 2 or 3 actually out of all the publicly traded ones, because most of the money is actually being spent on legal fees and compliance and dealing with, because not only do they have to deal with the regular actors, the IRS, the SEC, and FDIC, and all these groups that are blocking them from even opening up a checking account in some instances.
Yeah.
They also have to deal with the local city and then the state. So I would say with marijuana stocks, I couldn't be more bullish, but I would say proceed with a little bit of caution.
Sure.
If you're an American listening to this, if you're a Canadian and you're buying Canadian stocks, living in Canada where it's going to be fully legal in on July 1st, you're in good shape. But I have talked to several of the big brokerage houses, and just a heads up to everybody, it is possible that some of these brokerage companies stop allowing cannabis to be traded. And I don't say this to scare people, believe me, because we're suggesting some cannabis stocks that do business in the United States on Future Money Trends. So it's something that I don't want to happen, of course, but it is out there. So make sure you keep that cannabis investments into that speculative part of your portfolio, because there are some wild cards out there for us to be careful of.
Very sage advice there. And, I'm looking on FutureMoneyTrends.com right now. I'm looking at all I love the newsletter, which people need to sign up for on the website. I love the videos, the free reports. There's a report here that says Bitcoin's future. Well, what is Bitcoin's future? What and blockchain, how does that figure into the equation?
We've been covering Bitcoin since 2012, and through this process, I've had so many aha moments with the blockchain and Bitcoin. And the best example is when I went to a conference in 2012, it was just a bunch of dreamers and libertarians and computer guys. In 2016, it was ExxonMobil and Microsoft hosting the event.
Right.
And I just got back from the Miami one, and everybody was there. I mean, even there was a representative from Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. There was a DOJ person there, Department of Justice. So, I mean, it's taken on a whole new light. Homeland Security and Department of Defense is now using the blockchain and looking at implementing it for a secure communications. NASDAQ, COMEX, the CFTC, these people are looking at using the blockchain. So the blockchain, I think, has a very bright future. And the cryptocurrencies, I think they're all speculative, every single one of them, even Bitcoin. But, it's something that if you buy a little bit of it and just wait, it's one of those ones you can just wait it out. And if it becomes something, Bitcoin could go to several $100,000 because of the finite supply, or it could go to zero. I don't know, because at the same point in time when I was in that conference, I was like sitting there asking myself, is Bitcoin the AOL of the internet? Remember AOL at some point in time probably had 90% market share. I'm just guessing that, but I just know that we all in the mid 90s had our AOL disk and our AOL emails, and now nobody does.
Right.
So I don't know if that's where Bitcoin's going, or is Bitcoin the ultimate? Is it gold? Yeah. Does it stand the test of time? So I don't know where Bitcoin's future is. So we're actually investing in a lot of the blockchain companies. Our top pick is Hive Blockchain Technologies. I own that company, so full disclosure. Sure. And I've met with Frank Holmes, the chairman, many times. And look, they're a simple company. You can't buy ETFs really right now, or not very efficient ones. So this one is basically they mine and hoard cryptocurrency. So that's the closest thing I could get to an ETF, and that's what I was looking for.
Very cool. And the ticker for that, I've interviewed Mr. Frank Holmes. Great interview. He recommended to me Hive, HIVE, as well as GOAU for people interested in the gold or precious metals sector. Now, I'm looking at, again, future money trends. Great articles here. Dollar dumping in 2018. It sure has been. You tried really hard to warn people about this. I hope they listened. Can this get any worse? What do you think?
I think the dollar's overdue for a snapback rally for sure, and you would be more of an expert on where it's going. Certainly it's not just going to go straight down. So I think the dollar is going to continue its slide down, but I would say right now, if this show's being recorded on January 20th, I would say the dollar is overdue for a pretty significant rally here. So It would not be the time to short it. It wouldn't be the time to become bearish in the short term anyway. But you can see that. You can see that what's happening in the gold market and what's happening in the currency markets. The dollar is in a bear market. The tax cuts are going to likely increase the deficits, at least in the near term.
Right.
Government spending isn't slowing down a bit. So, and if you look at historically, tax cuts have been, caused a weakness in the U.S. currency. And I don't think the Trump administration has made it a secret that they have a weak dollar policy. Trump is trying to, increase our exports, make us more business friendly, and they believe a cheaper dollar will help them do that. And it's more of window dressing, right? Because yes, I guess the perception is if you have more inflation that things are going up, but in reality you're just losing your purchasing power. So I'm definitely short the dollar right now for the long term. I think it's a good chance that it hits mid to maybe even the low 80s in 2018.
Interesting. Okay. And finally, just wanted to talk about the U.S. economy and the equities markets in general. I know that's a broad question, but 2018 is still young. Even though there's some volatility today, the VIX readings have been super low. For the past year or more than a year, since early 2016 actually was the last 10% or greater correction we've had. Are we just going to continue this melt up? What do you think?
I think the melt up is on. I really do. I think this was overdue. I think in 2016, because of the election, the market was kind of just in a holding pattern, even as late as late 2015. But now it's exhaling. I think the melt up is on. The Dow Jones will go over 30,000 in 2018. And really, if you look at the consumer sentiment, if you look at small business optimism, all signs point to the wealth effect is in effect. And the wealth effect is that when people feel good about their stock account, they feel good about the price of their house, so they're willing to go out and spend some money on a Friday night and a Saturday night. They're willing to book that vacation. Yeah. And I think that's fully in effect for 2018. And a lot of it has to do with the tax cuts and the deregulation that's been going on with the Trump administration. So, fact is in 2 weeks, people are going to start to see bigger paychecks, and they're going to spend that money Many corporations are already spending more money, and I just don't think this trend is going to end with everybody having more money in their pockets and many of the corporations giving people raises, investing more capital, bringing home, repatriating cash, like Apple spending billions and billions of dollars into our economy. So I see the Dow Jones, perhaps having an overdue correction in this first half of 2018. But I think we're on, onwards and upwards is the trend because of what's happening in the sentiment of the consumers in the United States.
Interesting. Onward and upwards. Okay. Very good, sir. I love it. All right. Once again, the website is futuremoneytrends.com. That link is in the description below this video. Click on that, please. Why not? And get some of those free reports, free articles, videos, so on and so forth. And sign up for the free newsletter while you're at it. Also, check out Future Money Trend, which is the handle on Twitter. All right. Mr. Daniel Ameduri has been my guest today. I hope to have you back as a frequent guest. I really appreciate it, and you're welcome back anytime, Mr. Ameduri, on Looking at the Markets.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.